I'm Katie Wilson. I'm from Wellington in New Zealand. I came to CLI for about 2 months. So this is just the end of my time at CLI now. So I studied Chinese at university a few years ago and have since forgotten most of it, which eventually got a bit annoying. So I thought, okay, so I have to improve the situation and managed to get a couple of months off work to come and study Chinese. And I looked at a lot of different places on the internet and decided to come to CLI mainly because of the one-to-one teaching. So I find because you have 3 teachers and you have one-to-one classes with all of them, you can really go at your own speed, which especially for me was quite important because I had forgotten a lot that I'd learned previously at university, but I thought that I would remember it relatively quickly. So I wouldn't really match the speed of any other student who would start in my class, or if I went into a quite difficult class at first, then it would be quite difficult because I wouldn't have remembered things yet. And that was actually exactly how it happened. So I sat down with my teacher on the first day and we looked at different books and said, okay, so this is a book that will help me remember. So I did that one relatively quickly and then moved on to something which would extend my Chinese knowledge. So I found that very, very helpful. I lived in the CLI building while I was studying here, so I spent a lot of time here. I really like that because they make an effort to make sure there are a lot of Chinese people around. So I was a bit scared before I came that I would just end up speaking to other students in English most of the time. But I think because there are so many Chinese people here, people who live here, people who work here, interns, friends, whatever, you constantly have people who will help you with Chinese and who you can speak Chinese to, which I think is particularly helpful, especially if you're confident enough to just start speaking, and people here won't laugh at you. They will help you if you make a mistake. They will just help having a conversation with you. And there are a lot of people here who are also trying to improve their English. So it can go both ways, which is really good. So you don't just have the time that you have in class and your time studying afterwards. You can talk to people on a regular basis. People will help you. You can choose to speak Chinese quite a lot if you want to. Also, Guilin, I think, is also very good for the Chinese language learning experience because they have a bit of a dialect, but you can get over it, especially with the younger people. It's not too strong, and people don't really speak English in the streets. So when you go out, when you talk to people, you have to use your Chinese. Even if it's really basic, even if you don't know very much, you have to use a little bit. So that really helps you and pushes you to use more Chinese than you might otherwise do.